This is the all-wheel drive Sienna that I built for my uncle, who's kind of an old school climber and mountain biker, and he wanted something that he could camp in and still get pretty good gas mileage, have all-wheel drive. And the Sienna's one of the only minivans that kind of fits the bill as far as that goes. So built him a little camper. It's got 100 watts of solar on the roof with a 6-inch max fan. It's an exhaust only fan, one of the little pop-up ones, and then a Thule or a Yakima rooftop box. It's kind of the narrow one, so I could fit it on the factory crossbars and keep it as low to the roof as possible. This is a tire carrier that I made for this build specifically. The Siennas don't come with a spare tire because they come with run flat tires from the factory, and that's not the best if you're getting out there and trying to, you know, get out on some rougher roads and whatever else. If you got a flat, run flat tires still aren't going to get you out of a real pinch. So the best thing you can do is have a full-size spare. So the solution for that was to make a spare tire carrier. It goes into the hitch on 2 spots, and then is fastened to the body through this plastic panel here. This is a Sienna wheel bearing that it rides on. I can show you, and then basically I just welded a 2-inch hitch receiver onto it so that you can have a single bike rack on it. This is a latch from a Honda Passport tire carrier. It's got a little spring to help absorb the impact of the opening, and then just has a little hitch pin here to lock it into place. He also wanted an area that he could cook outside if he wanted to, so just have this little table here. Flips right out, and then you have your rear area here. I relocated the license plate so you could still see it around the spare tire carrier. Relocated the license plate light over there, which is where the backup camera was originally. Now the backup camera is up here again to accommodate the spare, and so you can still use the backup camera. So there's some lighting in there. I can turn that on. So I have a switch right over here, and that turns on the overhead lighting for the hatch, and that's so you have nice light when the hatch is open and you're outside cooking or whatever else. This particular one is the XLE, so it has the JBL stereo, which is actually really fantastic for a factory stereo. I'm really impressed with it. And then this is the camper. So it's got everything that a lot of full-size builds have. It's just packed into a smaller package. Everybody's cruising around on studded snow tires here. You can hear them a mile away. So there's a couple different shower options if you didn't want to use this one for winterizing or whatever else. You can just use this hose, and that hooks up directly to the water line. And then there's a couple valves. That for cassette toilet just lifts right out. It's kind of countersunk into the floor here, so that helps retain it and hold it in place. Fits super nicely. And so this hose, that'll hook up to this fitting right here. And then otherwise there's options for your shower drain, which I didn't have, which is probably why I forgot and burst it. You have your propane hookup, and then your selector valve for whether you want water going to the hot water heater or not. So under the toilet, I really tried to pack as much storage into this as possible. That was the whole I really tried to pack as much storage as possible into this build. He's usually going around with a lot of climbing gear and bikes and whatever else, and for such a small vehicle we wanted to have a lot of storage. So I tried to build everywhere I could. So this hot water heater fit perfectly in this little nook back there. And that just worked out. I have my switch there with a little buddy heater that goes into the seatbelt bolt, the original seatbelt bolt. I have storage underneath here, so that's a little cabinet under the toilet that opens up. This is your little footwell, which is great for when you're using the toilet because it is a little tight in here, but it's definitely doable, even for me, and I have a very long torso and I'm 6'2". We have a bike mount here, so you can carry the bike inside the van if you wanted to, for security, whatever else, if he's going in somewhere and doesn't want to leave the bike on the rack. So that's a really nice feature. Then this box, I built this box for the water tank storage, which is 2 6-gallon jerry cans, and also for storage. And then the byproduct of it was that I could put a slant on it like this, and you can use it as a backrest. So one of the things in most vans, almost all vans, is there's no spot that's greater than a 90-degree. So you're either trying to accommodate it with adding pillows or stacking stuff or whatever else. So by adding this, it's actually, you have one space at least that you can kind of relax in and whatever else. And facing that way, there's a twin DVD player, so you can pop on a movie and watch a movie if you want to. There's the Max fan up in the roof. That pops right up. Switch is right on it. Then in these cabinets, they all have magnet catches. In this cabinet, you have your factory inverter, a little 12-volt cigarette lighter, and light. So all of the dome lights in the back of the car, I divorced from the front of the system. So the front dome lights in the passenger area still function normally, the normal way they would. These are detached though. So all of these lights work independently, and they're on the camper battery setup. Same with these ones back here. So this is the other bin, which we have the 2 6-gallon water tanks. This is just basically a straw, pulls right out. You can swap it over to the other one. You could also run one as a gray and kind of drain into that, and it has the water. So back in here is also your access. If you pull these 2 tanks out, is your access to your spare tire, jack, and all that stuff. If you wanted to pull this cabinet out, you could, and definitely just have it open. It's only 4 bolts that hold it in. Then this is also storage. So this is where the factory 3rd row seat would like stow into. So that's about a foot deep, and it goes the full width of the van, which is a little over 4 feet at the back here. So that's a really good space in there. Access is a little bit tough, so it'd be better for some either bigger stuff or window covers, or maybe just putting bins in, whatever else. Moving forward, we have butcher block countertop with a countertop extension. Just folds right up, and that is a nice little additional space. Also, you have a little storage cabinet in here. Goes full length of the galley, and then this is your propane access down here. The propane tank is routed into the floor, so it actually sinks and kind of locks into place in the floor, and then I have this tie down strap that holds it there. Countertop just squeaks by the bed cushions. I got a new sewing machine, so I could actually sew some nice bed cushions for this van, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. I think they turned out great. So water pump switch, light switch. These are also routed so with the light switch off but power on, you can turn individual switches on and off if you want. So you could just have a reading light, whatever else, or you can just fire them all on. Water pump switch here, lights up blue. This is the faucet mount. Just use the shower head for a faucet as well. This fan has little window covers already, and I'm going to make insulated Reflectix ones that pop in there and get locked into place by these. So on a majority of them I don't have to do magnet catches or anything like that. Sink plug, got a undermount stainless sink, all sealed up nice. Then we have the Galley cabinet here. This one just pops off, camping latches, and that's a gray tank. So I have a 2-gallon gray down here, just a little lever to release it. Just goes straight in. Super simple setup. Should be pretty easy for him to maintain and everything like that. Again, magnet catches. This is just all storage, and then the fridge is over there. And this is the Wakey Me battery off of Amazon. So all-in-one battery box. Has an inverter, does 110 USBs. Has the 2 amp fast charge USB. And then I have my solar, and the van charges as well if you're driving. So I just swap those out depending on what I want to do for inputs. So right now I was just driving on a long trip to come up here and deliver it, so I had it plugged into the van and it charged it fully. And this thing does really well. I ran the fridge, the lights, and the fan on max for 42 hours and it was still at about 30% battery. It's really impressive for the money nowadays. $350. You can really plug in whatever you want into this and have it run. I have a little fuse box down here. You probably can't see, but there's a little 6-fuse fuse block and a smart battery isolator down here that helps maintain the charge between the van battery and this battery, so it won't drain the van battery. And it also has a little switch so I can actually charge the starter battery off of my house battery back here. So if this is fully charged up and for some reason the van battery dies, I think it's kind of more of a trickle charge with this setup. It's not exactly a jump start feature, but I can kind of trickle charge it. So there's enough room in here too that you can just kind of set your phones, whatever, tablet, computer, all in there. And then you can also pull this out. It just lifts right up if you wanted to bring it into the house and charge it or get it out of the cold or whatever else. So that's nice. And then if you're sitting up front, it's kind of like a couch. I have a little trim on all the edges, and then I made this little cutout because there's a huge center console here. So that's just a piece of vinyl, really durable vinyl flooring and ACM. Almost all the framework in here is steel, which, you know, you get mixed reviews on from people and whatever else, but if anybody's lifted the seats out of a Sienna, I'm still probably saving weight on the whole build. So they're probably about 250, 300 pounds of seats and seat rails and sliders and ottomans and whatever else. So yeah, I wasn't all that concerned with weight, and the durability is fantastic on steel. So it's not gonna break or decay if you go on some rough roads and it flexes. Like a lot of like particle board builds and whatever else would. So if you're sitting on the couch, we'll call it the couch right now, the couch / bed, I wanted to have a table in here, but there's no room to store it, and there's no good place to mount it necessarily. So my solution was this guy. So it's on slides, so your countertop just slides over to you, and you can sit here and either use it as a desk, eat dinner, whatever else, and it's also your fridge access. So I have a little dual zone fridge in here. Again, another Amazon purchase, but this thing is really good. It's very efficient, it's pretty quiet, doesn't draw a lot of power, and it keeps a consistent temperature, so don't know what more you could ask for. But yeah, having this countertop slide is really nice because you can get away with using a chest-style fridge freezer, having a table, and also if you were prepping food, whatever else, you don't have to take anything off your countertop. So you can just leave everything on your countertop, whatever else, slide this out, get to your fridge, do what you need to do, slide it back in, and do whatever. You can also kind of surround yourself with it. So if you are cooking, since this van is seated only use pretty much, my head is right at the ceiling if I'm sitting on the cushions. So I kind of calculated to fit somebody that's 6'2", 6'3", which my uncle and I are both about the same height. So it worked well for that, but yeah, you're pretty much sitting. So you can get away with prepping by having this countertop surround you and then your flip up one here. So you have a little like horseshoe of prep space and whatever else. So you really don't have to move much or scoot around to accomplish that. So that's really nice. I tried to think this build through as much as possible and really make it as functional as it could be for what he wanted. So I have vinyl plank flooring, 100% wall. And then just about the last thing in this van is the beds. So this was like one of the most interesting, hard to solve problems, I would say, for this build. So I have 4 bed cushions that you can use as a couch in this configuration. You can also put this cushion across that back panel like that. And then that's your lounge seat configuration. Flip your DVD player down, put on a movie, play a little PS2. So that's one configuration. You have full couch mode, then you have lounge mode, and then he also wanted to be able to have one person sleep in here and have a bike in here, or have 2 people sleep in here if need be. My aunt as well. So that was the toughest part, figuring out how to make a bed that works for 2 people in a minivan. So figuring out how to do that was tough, because we also wanted storage underneath the beds. So these cushions Velcro on. It's kind of notched around the door there. So that can just lift up. You pull that, then this. So making a bed that can have storage in this was kind of tough. Making a bed that can have one person sleep in it with storage, or 2 people sleep in it with storage, is very difficult and took some thinking. So I kind of came up with this frame system that they can lift up. So you pull your cushion, lift up, and you have a really good storage space under there. It's about 40 inches long, 25 inches wide, and about 7 inches deep. A little bit smaller on this other one, but pretty similar size. So that can just flip right down. So that solves the cushion and storage issue. Okay, we have 2 bed panels and storage underneath. Great. How do we sleep 2 people in here? So I have these on 250-pound drawer slides. So you can slide that out, then take your bed cushion, pop it down, and then you have double wide sleeping area, and you still have access to your fridge, you still have access to most of your cabinets, everything like that. So same deal with this rear one. Got storage underneath, lifts right up, it has little shocks, and a 250-pound slide here. I'm on a bit of a hill, so they're moving a little bit. The Velcro also kind of locks them into place, so you have your full, it's almost a full-size bed. Just a hair narrower down at the bottom here, which is where your feet would be. But it turns into a pretty good bed space. So these are 2-inch memory foam on the top and 3-inch high-density foam on the bottom. I assembled them, cut them, made the fabric covers for them, sewed the Velcro on. They have snaps that hold them closed. they fit really nice. And I also did batting on them just to take up some of the slack in the cushions. The fabric is still pretty fresh, so those creases will kind of go away in a few days, I'm sure. So they're very comfortable. They're more comfortable than the mattress in my camper, which was like an 8-inch memory foam mattress. So I think kind of assembling these myself made a better bed for sure. Yeah, so that's kind of the 3 configurations. So you have couch mode, single bed mode, double bed mode, and the kind of lounger mode. So you can have a bike kind of going down the center aisle here for most of those. All of them except the double, basically. So should be a really good setup for them. As far as the van itself, it drives great. It's all-wheel drive, has heated seats, JBL stereo, navigation. It's a 2011 XLE Sienna. Pretty well-appointed van. It's nice to drive. Has like 3.5 liter, which makes somewhere around 260 horsepower. No problem passing on the highway. Even loaded up with everything on the bike rack and all that. So this is in the driver's side door. There is room here. You could squeeze through here if you really had to, but as it is, you have 3 points of egress. You can either go out that door, out the passenger slider, you just pull the cushion down. You have the back door, and then you also have, well, I guess 4 points, because you can go through the center console on driver or passenger door. So I figured compromising one of the doors to have some better storage and stuff wasn't the end of the world, and probably worked out a little better. As far as exterior stuff, it's just the stuff on the roof. And the only other thing we did some maintenance stuff. If you are looking at an all-wheel drive Sienna, be careful because the viscous couplers tend to go bad on them. We got this one for a pretty good deal because it's got a little bit of body damage right there, a little dent, and it needed a viscous coupler. And that part is $1,400 if you buy a new one, about $1,000 for a rebuilt, and you can try to do it yourself with mixed success. People have had mixed results with it for about $150 in parts. So something to keep in mind if you are looking at these. It sounds like a hum out of the back, kind of a whirling hum. And if you hear that, and well, when it had a full interior, it was pretty quiet. And once I gutted it, it was about 100 decibels at 60 miles an hour. So it was pretty unbearable. So just keep a listen out for that if you are looking at buying one of these. And then the drive shaft was also, the U-joints were bad, and it's not a serviceable drive shaft, so I bought a replacement on Rock Auto, which is serviceable, so in the future it shouldn't be any problem for him to go ahead and have U-joints replaced and whatever else. But otherwise, not a bad looking van. We went one size bigger on tires. The XLE comes with 18, so these are the Cooper Adventurers, Cooper Adventure HT in a 235/60 18. So factory is 235/50. The only other thing we went through and did, I went through and kind of took care of some little maintenance stuff. Rear shocks, brakes, like I said, the drive shaft, viscous coupler, and front struts here too. Went through and did those. And that took care of all the little maintenance stuff it had. This one has 140,000 miles on it. And so far it's been really good. So that's the camper. I try to make everything I can. I do like real wood, so I try to avoid any particle board or anything like that. So we have this hex ply, which is very scratch resistant and durable. On the outside, kind of looks nice with the exposed edge, and then the countertop. Other than that, everything is steel or ACM or vinyl floor, or aluminum here. So aluminum trim, vinyl floor, ACM kind of covers and stuff like that, which is aluminum composite, so plastic center, 2 skins of aluminum. Really durable, doesn't mold, anything like that. I also had all the interior panels out and insulated as much as I could with recycled denim insulation with a radiant barrier backer, so that hopefully helps too with keeping this thing insulated. But the biggest hindrance is going to be the windows, so I got to get the window covers made up for them. That's going to make a big difference in keeping warm in here. But yeah, that's the van. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment and do whatever you want. If you like it, yeah, let me know. If there's anything you don't like about it, also let me know. I'd like to know what people think and what I could do better for future vans if I ever build other stuff. So yeah, also I'm always doing weird projects and builds and whatever else, so if you want to subscribe, go ahead. Yeah, you can see some more cool stuff sporadically coming out. So cool. Thanks for watching, guys.